Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. So just so you know, I've officially published my first library to NPM. Um, and basically the concept of it is it's kind of like after going through that whole Lodash exercise where I did all those videos on Lodash, I liked a lot of the functions. There were some functions that I would like to be in there that weren't in there. And some of them I would like to work differently in the sense that I like using my array methods using the dot notation. So having to like pass in the array and then pass in the callback, I was like, it'd be nice to be able to use them like the way I'm used to using all my other array methods. So basically, the point of the library I made, which is called Alex Merced Utilities, which the package name is mercedutils, basically will supercharge your arrays, give you some other extra utilities. I'm gonna keep adding more and more to it. So the documentation will kind of walk you through what it has. I'm gonna do some examples now. Actually, I'm gonna refresh this because I just added a bunch more stuff to it. So yep, we're on version 1.3, and yeah, I've added a whole bunch more methods. So what I'm gonna do in this video is just kind of show you how this works, so you can see what it does. So let me actually close all this for now. That's just me actually working on the library itself. I'll come back to that. I'm gonna go into my node practice folder. I'm gonna create a new folder, new file. No, not new file. I'll just do it from the command line. So cd node practice make dir prac 3, and then we're going to cd into prac 3, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an npm init -y. I'm not going to worry about all the other stuff. Cool. So we got a package.json in our prac 3 folder, so I'll just open that up so you guys can see. I'm going to make an index.js file, index.js. Okay, and then we're going to install the library. So it'd be npm I mercedutils. Okay. It's a small library, so it shouldn't take too long to install. Yep, there it goes, pretty quick. Okay, now how does this work? So let's open up the index.js. First step is we're going to just const require the library. Okay, we're going to use destructuring to pull in the two functions that it gives you. It gives you a function called superArray and a function called utils. Okay. And basically that's going to equal require mercedutils. Okay, so there we've brought in the library, we've brought in these two functions. The superArray function is gonna, you just have to run once. So you can literally just run superArray right after that. SuperArray. You run the function, that's literally all you have to do. Once you do that, it's gonna go in there and add all the methods to the array prototype. So all your arrays will have access to all these methods. Cool. There's a couple non-array functions, like random number generating and whatnot, that are in the utils function. So if I wanted to like destructure that, I could just be like, const, I'll just restructure those functions. So I'll say it's, I think it's, let me just go back and check. It is right here. We go. I'll just copy this. Yay for the documentation. Luckily I wrote documentation for my own library. Okay, so basically it's just these four functions right now, which the names kind of pretty much tell you what they do. Random index will give you, you pass in an array and it'll give you a random index of that array, which you can then do with what you want. This will generate a number within a range, so you go low, high. This is just a random number up to a number you pass in, and then this you pass in an array and eliminates all the duplicates. Although I do have a method for that too, but there. So basically with this, you now have access to everything in the library. Cool. So let's make an array so we can start testing out some of these methods. So const my array equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Save. Okay. Let's go down each one. Okay, what was the? Let's go down here. It's all in the documentation. Tells you what functions there are. So again, we run the superArray function that just basically does all the stuff. So there's array.random, console.log. So basically this would be my r.random. And what this does is just returns a random element from the array. Okay, so if I run this now, so node index.js. Oh, I got some syntax error. R is not defined. Oh, I didn't fix that in the library. Okay, I have to go back and fix. Ooh, I thought I did fix that. Okay. Let me just fix the library while you're here, so you can actually, I'll teach you the process of fixing the library as well. Okay, so I have the library opened up over here. So it's saying R random index. That means I need to change that back to this. So I gotta go back here to super array. Let's take a look at random. Where do I have R still? Oh, right here. Tisk. Here we go. This random index. Because originally I had it refactored where you would run the super array function on an actual array, and it would only add those functions to that array. So then you'd have to be running the super array function every time you create a new array, and I was like, okay, there's got to be a better way. So I decided to just add the methods to the array prototype. So that way when you run that super array function, everything's just has it. Okay, so you don't have to worry about this. So I'm just fixing this real quick. So you see, I adjust the library. Okay, neat. And let me actually get into that folder from a separate here. So cd.js, utilities. Control C, cd, JS utilities. Okay, now that let me just double check. This .length, that's all good. Git add, git commit -m, fixed random, and I'm gonna get push origin master, so that way push it up. Okay. Oh, and I'm still gonna have to do that again in a second. The reason is I gotta change. When you publish to NPM, you gotta make sure you change the version number each time you make an update. So save for. So git add, git push origin. Well, first git commit, update version, git push origin master. Just that way my repo is all up to date too. What? Oh. There we go. Okay, now we can publish it to NPM. NPM publish, and since I'm logged into NPM, that's just going to publish it to an update NPM. Okay, so while that updates, let's go back to our library prac 3, and I'm going to want to install the newest version. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this line here from my package JSON. So that way when I reinstall it, it's going to reinstall the new version. I'm going to delete my node modules folder. I mean, I could just do uninstall and install, but whatever. Okay, so now that that's updated, let's reinstall it. npmi mercedutil. Cool. Okay, so now this should be working. So let's go back over here. Node index.js, and there you go. So it gives you a random element from the array. Okay, fun. Cool, so that's the first method. Let's go through all the methods. So that way you guys can troubleshoot with me and learn how to use all the methods here. The second one is remove. Remove is the opposite of filter. Lodash has this function. It's called reject in the Lodash library. But again, the Lodash syntax requires you to pass in like the array, then the callback. This works like you're used to working with filter. So it does the opposite of filter. So instead of only keeping the stuff that returns true, it's not going to keep the stuff that returns true. So let's say I want a copy of my array, but I don't want it to have all the numbers above 3. So then I would just be like value. And I can also pass in the index, even though I'm not going to use it right now. And just check, is the value greater than 3? And if it's true, it won't add it to this new array that it's going to return. So I'll only keep the stuff that is false. Okay, so see there, 1, 2, and 3. All the numbers above 3 are removed. So you can pass any kind of check you want. So if you're familiar with how filter works, it's literally the opposite of filter. Next function is undupe. Okay, now what undupe does is just going to remove duplicates. So let me put some duplicates in there. Out of 6. Okay. So undupe, and it'll just return you the same array just without the duplicates. Okay, so there you go. See the array without duplicates. Okay, so that way you don't have to worry about turning it into a set and turning it back into an array. It just does it for you. Very nice. Okay, leave random eliminate. This is kind of fun. This will eliminate a random element of the array and return you that element. So rand eliminate. Okay, and then we'll also console log the array itself again. So that way you can see that I removed this element, and now the array will no longer have that element. Let me just delete the duplicates. Doot, 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 doot. Doot, 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 doot. Save. And see, it removed 3, because it returned us the 3. But we still have all these left. So it's a nice way to kind of yank out, like let's say you were doing like, you had a object with all your subscribers for your podcast, and you wanted to select one of them to win a contest, but you don't want them to be able to win a second time. This is a good way to, you know, remove them continuously, kind of thing. So that's a fun one. Then I have leave 1, which kind of does the same thing. It's going to randomly eliminate things from your array until there's only one thing left. So let's do leave 1. And that's going to return, I think it's going to return everything that was removed. So let's double check. I mean, I can just read the docs, but and you think I just made this last night, so you think I'd remember, but okay, yep, it returns the array of the things that were removed, and see now your array only has 8. So if you want to, you can achieve the same result, but in the inverse, where you only want one thing left in the array, but you want to randomly select the things that get removed. Okay, and then there's leave sum. So let's say you only want to leave like 2 items in the array. You can use leave sum. So you say, hey, I want to randomly eliminate stuff, but leave 2 items in the array. Okay, so see there, here's it returns you what was removed. So here's the array of all the removed elements, leaving the original myr with 4 and 8. Okay, cool. So that's leave sum. Find and remove. This does 2 things. It's a pattern that I find myself doing a lot, where I would use find to find the, or use find index to find the index of a particular value, and then have to remove that value with splice. So why not just make a function that does that? So that's what find and remove does. You give the value, it'll find the index, splice it out, and return you the removed item. So I want to remove 5. Okay, and then again I'm going to console log my R, so you can see that 5 was removed. Save. If I do that, there you go. See, 5 was removed, and we take a look at the array. 5 is removed. Okay, so it makes it saves you a couple steps in removing a value from your array. Okay. Find, remove, add length. Let's say, so this array is what it has a length of 8, but I want the array to have a length of 10. Okay. So I can arbitrary. So let's say add length. So you can kind of use, Fill kind of does this, but it does it slightly differently. Like it creates a new array with so many spots in there filled with a particular value. This takes an existing array and will add those spots to the array. And I'm sure there's probably a Lodash equivalent. I don't remember it off the top of my head. One that kind of worked exactly like this. But add length, I'll say, hey, you know what? I want this array to be of length 10. And to do so, feel free to use the value 9. So then in that case, since this has a length of 8, it's going to add 2 more 9s. So it'll basically be 9, 9 at the end. Save, add length. Let's see, now it has 10. Now we get back the array with the extra 2 elements. Yay. So now we have an array of 10. In case and then why would you use this is because maybe you have a certain pattern where the array needs to be a particular length for it to work. And there's a situation where there's a possibility that your array may be for some reason less than 10. So maybe you pass in the first value of the array to fill in the remaining spots or something like that. That's a possibility. So in that case, I may do something like this. Do my R 0. So that'll just take the 1, because maybe it has to conform a certain like form. So it's like maybe it's an object, it's an array of objects, and you want to make sure that the objects that fill the remaining spots match the schema or whatever. You can just do something like this, and it'll just fill in those 2 spots. It's a thing. I can imagine it being useful at some point. Leave some, find, remove. We did that. Add length, less length right, less length left. Does the exact same thing, except it takes an array that's too big and shrinks it. And right and left just means, do I want to shrink it from the right, or do I want to shrink it from the left? Okay, so do I want to shift, or do I want to pop? Cool. So if I do less length left, and I say, hey, I want to reduce this array to 2 elements. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to also console log my R so you can see how the array has changed. It should return me the elements that were removed from the array. So this should remove everything but 2, so everything but 7 and 8. So I should get an array back with 1 through 6. Yep, so I get an array back with 1 through 6, but now the array only includes 7 and 8. Now if I do this with less length right, okay, and I do the same thing, it's going to cut out these values, so I should get an array of 3 through 8, and then the array will still have 1 and 2. Okay, and this could be useful for the opposite, where an array is too long and you want to shrink it, and you prefer shrinking it in a particular way. Or if you just randomly want to shrink it, you can use, you know, the leave some function from above. Whatever floats your boat. Okay, so we still got more. As add length, less length right. Some more. Okay, so we're almost at the end of this. Some more. So basically the original sum function, which already exists in JavaScript, basically returns you true or false. It returns you true if at least one value passes your test. But maybe you don't want it for just one. Maybe you want to see, hey, long as 2 of these are true, I'm good. And that's what some more does. So you, just like some, you're going to pass in the callback. So maybe I want to check if there's values greater than 6. So value, and I could pass, you know, just like any callback, I could do value and index. We'll say value is the value greater than 6. Okay, that'll be my first argument, and we can see here there's going to be 2 values greater than 6. So the original sum would just automatically return true because there's at least one value that's greater than 6. But let's say I want to say, hey, I want 3 values that are greater than 6. Okay, this will return true. I mean, this will return false because there aren't 3 values that are greater than 6. Okay, but if I change this to 2, there are 2 values that are greater than 6, so it should return me true. So essentially you're setting kind of like a tolerance level. So it's a sum function. And if you wanted to use it just like the sum function, you would just say, hey, 1, as long as 1 is true. And it's the same thing. Cool. And then technically, if you want to see if they were all false, you could just change it to 0. I didn't even think about that, but you could do that. But that'd be weird. Okay, as long as none of them are true. Okay, cool. So that's some more. Then there is every less. Make sure I got the name right. Every less. Yep. Looks like I copied some more twice into my documentation. I'll come back and take a look at that. Something I need to fix there. In the docs. Okay, but every less is basically the it's like every, except, you know, every would return you false if only one of them was false. But maybe you're like, you know, I want everything to be true, but I'm okay with one being false. There isn't really a good way of doing that. So with this, same way. So let's say I want to say, hey, I want all the numbers to be greater than 1, but I'm okay with one of them, you know, being above. So let's see your value greater than 1, value greater than 1, and I'm fine with one value being not greater than 1. So I'm okay with 1 false. So this should return true, even though not everything passes my test. But if I said I'm okay with, well, 2, that'd still be fine. But let's say I change this to values greater than 3. Okay. There are 3 that don't pass that test. There are 3 false. We're only tolerating 1 falsitude. So in that case, this will still return false. Oh, I have to save it. That would help. Yep, and that would return false. I do have a feeling we are missing one method. Taking a look at the docs. So every less, some more. No, I guess we covered them all. Length, less length left, less length right, add length. Yep. And see, a lot of these didn't need too much code, but you know, now you don't have to do it. Okay, and then these other methods here that we have here, might as well go through those as well. Random index gets you a random index from an array. So if I were to random index my R, it'll just return me a random index, which I could do whatever with. I mean, technically that random function kind of, unless you really just need the index, this kind of is obsoleted by that random function, but it's there. Then there's random range. So let's say I want a number between, you know, 5 and 15. I hit save, and it'll get me a random number between 5. Ooh, wait a second, did I save? Random number between 5 and 15, but this is again before every time. Oh, we're gonna need to fix this function. Let's troubleshoot it. Okay, let's take a look. Why is it just giving me 4 every time? It was working before. Let's see. Let's take a look at the. Well, that's actually going to be in this file over here. Random range, low, high. Okay, so we're going to have the number start at low 4, while num is less than low, which technically it should be, because low minus 1 would be less than low. And the number is greater than high. Do this. So while num is less than low and number is greater than high, num equals random number high. Then that should just loop. So that should still be working. Let's me think here. Oh, wait, no. Both, I see, 'cause it's an and, it should be or. If num is less than low, or num is greater than high. There we go. That was my mistake. Because it's never ever going to both be true. So this loop will never run. Okay, so let's fix that. Okay, so you get to watch me fix it again. Okay, and then again, part of also this video is just to kind of show you the process of managing it in NPM Package, and plus I'm just excited to have released this, even though I should have tested this a little bit more. But you get to watch me test, and you'll see now that everything's working because we'll have tried everything before this video is over. Super array. So let's go back to here. Okay, so we fixed that. README. I'm not gonna fix the README right now. Package.json. Change it to 0.5. Actually, let me just go back to the README and delete that extra some more. Hey, here we go. Removes elements from the array until the desired length. No, so this is we don't need this. Okay, so that's fixed. You watch me fix the docs. You watch me fix all the things. Okay. Okay. So now we just need to go commit it. So let me go over here. Git add git commit -m fixes git push origin master git npm publish. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Actually, I'll just do it this time. I'll just do it the way I should be doing it. npm uninstall mercedutil. Okay, so that removed it. Just make sure that's done. Yep, that's done. And then let's reinstall it. npm I mercedutil. Nice. Okay. So let's go back to our index.js here and run that. Node index.js. Okay, now we're getting a random number between 5 and 15. Okay, cool. So that's random range. And back to these functions. Random range, random number. That's just going to get you a random number. So let's say a random number anywhere between 0 and 15. Or really a random integer between 0 and 15, because it won't get you floats. So that works. And then the last function, eliminate dupes. So let's go back and put some duplicates in the array. 5, 5. 6. Okay. So let's do eliminate dupes. And then we pass in my R. Save. Okay. And eliminate dupes, my R. Oh yeah, I just want to run it. Node index. And again, this should just return me the array without the duplicates. Eliminate dupes is not defined. Did I spell it wrong? Eliminate dupes. Yep, I spelled it wrong. Eliminate dupes. Okay, let's run it again. And there you go. See, the array without the duplicates. So yeah, I mean, these are just a handful of functions that do some things you might use in certain situations, but you might find them useful here and there. And again, all you literally have to do to use all the array methods is just run this function once. All you have to do is run that function once, and all your arrays going forward, for as long as that function's at the top of your program, will have all these extra methods. Okay, and I'm going to keep adding more methods as I go along. But I think I added all the low-hanging fruit. You know, I'm not going to be adding super crazy stuff. There's stuff that I mean, I'm not going to add a lot of the stuff that I don't want to necessarily duplicate Lodash completely. I just want to add some of the stuff that I really liked in Lodash and then think of new things that might be useful on my travels and add them to this library, so that way you guys can use them too and supercharge your arrays. And I might add other cool stuff. I might add some cool classes if I can think of anything particularly useful that's for like general use cases and whatnot. Basically, any kind of useful utilities I can think of will be added to this library. So not a bad one to have. And I'll keep updating the docs so that way not hard to look up what you need. So my name is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. Have a great day and enjoy.